So, a few things that I've learned in my 25 years on this planet. One, don't let someone dim your light. So, as you guys have probably noticed, I talk with my hands. Anybody who knows me in real life is very well aware of the fact I am a loud person. I'm a very, very loud person. I talk loud. I have a big personality. And I allowed people to tell me that my personality was too big. So I kind of tried to dial it back. And this ended up making me really shy. Like, to the point where, like, when I would meet someone new, I would be afraid to show off my real personality. And I was always trying to read people's faces when I would start talking with my hands too much, or I would start to be too loud, or I would start to do something that was kind of strange. And I'm slowly getting back to just being myself. Number 2, big thing. When dealing with a narcissist, you're not going to win. Point blank. When dealing with a narcissist, you are not going to win. You are going to be the bad guy in someone's story. And you have to learn to be okay with that. I am the bad guy in lots of people's stories. And I've just learned to be okay with it. I am not going to try to rewrite someone else's narrative because they want to believe I'm the bad guy. They want to believe I'm the bad guy. Believe I'm the bad guy. I don't care. Number 3, you don't get to decide if something you said hurt someone's feelings or didn't. So I was talking about TikTok drama earlier because I had drama to spill. I can't decide if what was said hurt that person's feelings or not. The person that I was addressing, or my mother-in-law, I can't decide that just didn't hurt their feelings. That's why I said in one of my videos, if my mother-in-law were to ever come forward and tell me that what I said hurt her feelings, I would sincerely and genuinely apologize to her, because I can't decide that she didn't get her feelings hurt by what I said. So that's a big one. Number 5, people will listen to you if you have a message that's worth listening to, but you have to be passionate about your meaning. So my big thing is I want to be a creator, but I also want to be someone who is an inspirational speaker. I want to be able to help people because I've had body confidence issues, and I've had, I guess it's classified as an eating disorder. And I've had problems in my life. I've had problems in my 25 years on this earth. And it's not to discredit anybody else's problems, but I would love to be able to help people get past their problems and lead a healthier life, and be able to, at one point in time, look back on a part of their life and be like, wow, I was really toxic, and now look at me. I'm really better. And just be able to be proud of who they are. And number 6 is, no matter what, you have to be you. You have to be you. You have to be. I spent so much time trying to make others happy. Spent so much time trying to make other people happy. And in doing that, I lost who I am. In doing that, I lost myself. And I'm the kind of person that I wear clothes that are weird. Like, this jacket and my jeans are covered in paint stains from when we painted our living room. And I love to wear them because, look, I accidentally made a semicolon out of paint. And when we painted, I was really depressed. And I accidentally made a semicolon on my sweatshirt. That's a sign. But on top of it is, like, I don't see a lot of people wearing paint splatter clothes. So I like wearing my paint splatter jacket and my paint splatter pants and being who I am. And overall, that's a big part of the reason I started a YouTube channel. Besides the fact that I use this thing like a diary when I need it, it's just come down to, I really want to inspire people to do better. A year ago, I was mentally sick, really mentally sick, and I didn't believe I had a purpose in this life and all that. And then I found out I was pregnant, and I got better, kind of. But then after my daughter was born, I had a bout with postpartum depression, and that's something that a lot of people don't want to talk about. People don't want to talk about postpartum depression. And then I got past my bout of postpartum depression, and I started going back into my patterns of regular depression. And it kind of clicked with me that I needed help. And I'm going to make a video about when I went to go see my doctor, because that's a story in its own. But I finally had to ask for help. And now I'm on medication for my anxiety, and I'm not as anxious anymore. And it's kind of a double whammy because it's an antidepressant and an anti-anxiety. So it's kind of like a twofer. But it gives me the confidence to be myself again, because I'm not as worried about what people think. And I'm kind of back to that mindset of not caring what people think, which I really, really love. So overall, I can't complain about that. I can't complain about being back to being comfortable with who I am. But these are just little tips and tricks that I've picked up from being 25 years old and dealing with people and dealing with assholes and dealing with people who, again, make me the bad guy in their narrative. That's always going to happen. To someone, I'm a bad guy, and I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable with that because I know the truth. They know their truth. I know my truth. There's 3 sides to every story. That makes 6. There's 3 sides to every story. His side, her side, and the truth. In the end, I may have said or done something that was toxic to these people that I didn't realize I was doing at the time. Or I may have done something that hurt their feelings, or they may have felt like I double-crossed them. And the most perfect example I can think of is a roommate I had a few years back, long before I had my daughter. Was living with my husband in Coos Bay with 2 roommates. They were a couple, we were a couple, and we weren't getting along. It was not a happy living situation. It was a pretty miserable living situation, if I'm being honest. We didn't really, we just kind of felt like our personalities were 2 completely different personalities, and they were kind of clashing a lot. So I started hanging out with a friend, and I told my friend I thought it was great that he was going to let my roommate live with him scot-free, not having to pay bills or anything like that. And she kind of looked at me and she was like, "Excuse me?" I said, "Well, that's what I was told." And she said, "No, that was not what was said." I made a comment that even my husband and I understood, that when you have a roommate, you have to pay your portion of everything. And she offered me her spare room. So we took it. We jumped on that opportunity. We wanted out. And we were hoping that by moving out, we might be able to like salvage our friendship with these people. Didn't work. He found out that we were moving with them, kicked us out that night, the exact same day she offered us a spare room. We didn't talk for months and months and months and months and months. And I'm sure I'm the bad guy in their narrative, or my husband's the bad guy in their narrative, or whatever. And that's just how it is. I don't see it as any of us were the bad guy. I don't see it as being either one of us did something wrong or something bad. What I see it as being is we all had different personalities that were clashing with one another, that shouldn't have been living together. I think our friendships absolutely could have been salvaged had we tried and had we talked to each other and realized that, you know, we don't want to lose each other as friends. We don't want to have this be a bad ending to our friendship. And that's just really not how it went down. Honestly, I haven't talked to the guy in 4 years, I think. 3 or 4 years. And I barely speak to her. She did apologize for her part in why our living situation wasn't very happy. But other than that, I didn't expect a whole lot out of her, because again, it wasn't anybody's fault that we couldn't live together. It was just a matter of our personalities clashed too much. We shouldn't have been living together. We weren't good roommates. End of story, end of narrative. I'm not going to sit here and paint them as bad people, because they really weren't. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say they were horrible, awful people and make it sound like they were terrible. But I am, you know, we were toxic to each other in one way or another. They were toxic to us in one way or another. We were toxic to them in one way or another. We didn't clash. We didn't work together. So it was better that we stopped being friends. Unfortunately, and another thing I've learned in life, a seventh thing that I've learned in life, no matter how bad you have it, someone else always has it worse. Now, this is not to discredit other people's pain. This was something I picked up because especially when I would be in pain, I would go on a pity party, and I realized that wasn't helping me in any way, shape, or form. That was not helping me. So I realized if I started thinking about it as no matter how bad I have it, someone else has it worse, that made me realize that I didn't need to go on a pity party. Excuse me. That I didn't need to go on a pity party, and I didn't need to be upset because I was going through a rough time, or it was okay for me to be upset for a little bit, and then I needed to get out of it. I needed to kind of pick myself up and try a little bit harder. This isn't to discredit your pain or discredit anybody else's. It's just to point out to you, like, yeah, you've got it hard, but someone else has it harder. You know, there's always somebody else that has it harder than you, and it's a hard knock life. You've just got to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and try harder. Again, not to discredit anybody's pain, but it's the truth. Anyway, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. These are little tips and tricks I've learned throughout the years. I hope you find them useful. I'm sorry I'm talking a million miles a minute. I had coffee this morning. I love you all. Thank you very much for coming to my video and watching. Please make sure you subscribe, turn on the bell, and leave a comment. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful evening.